that had a little bit more impact on Ed? There were 4 people now that had a relationship with Ed that were saying, Ed, you've got to come check this out. I think this would be great for your business. We got Ed to a meeting. Ed has served as vice president. He served as chapter mentor. Ed is probably the biggest cheerleader. He actually might be responsible for bringing more new members into our chapter than anybody else. He's a constant referral leader. So be specific about what you're asking for. We did the same thing with our electrician. We set a name. People in the room knew that person. Landscaping. People in the room knew that person. So be specific about what you're looking for. If you're looking for a specific, it happened to be down in Guilford. We were looking for an electrician, and someone says, oh, I know, and they mention his name. And the realtor sitting in the room goes, that's my cousin. So ask for a name, mention a name, and see if that helps you, get that person into the room. Another thing that we did during that core group process was immediately set the tone about classification cowboys, classification overlaps, people that want to, I'm a general contractor, for lack of a better term. I specialize in residential remodeling. In our chapter, and right away, when we chartered, we had a new home builder and a roofer in our chapter. I realized that maybe part of it was because of my example or experience in B&I 10 years before, that, I might give up a little piece of this pie over here, but together we're going to have a much bigger pie. And because of that, right now my business, I'll kind of go through some of the jobs we're working on. We're doing just signed with a member of our chapter a $15,000 window replacement job. I'm doing a $10,000 bathroom remodel job that was a referral from a member of our chapter. I'm doing a $30,000 flip house with that original realtor that was in B&I 15 years ago. We're still doing business with one another. And oh yeah, she introduced me to this other realtor that also manages a condominium association. And on average, I do about $300,000 a year with the business with that condominium association. So B&I, absolutely works for me. And I don't know how it has been down in here, but with the remodelers and painters that I room, has it been a tougher 2 years than previous? No, it's been good for you guys down here. Up in our neck of the woods, whenever I talk to, and it hasn't been for me either, but I've spoken to a lot of remodelers. New home construction was very, 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 very soft. And a lot of the remodelers that I know went through a really hard time, especially last year and through this winter. But B&I has been great for me in my business, and getting to the people that want to have the work done. So again, it goes back to value, goes back to giving the members a return on investment for what they're putting in. We all know that our biggest investment in B&I is what? It's time. In order to really give, it takes time. Whether it's to take time for a referral, I could give out leads all day long. I have a meeting this afternoon with a member of our chapter. They do document shredding. If I gave him a name and a number to somebody, I don't know if he'd get past the receptionist. But I know those people at that office, and I know I can walk them right in the front door past the receptionist. Let's go meet Mary. She's the decision maker. But it's going to take time out of my schedule to do that. But that's part of Giver's Gain. And Giver's Gain isn't just a motto, is it? It's a philosophy. I think B&I, and my chapter does, it attracts a certain type of person. I really do. It's the type of person that gets that philosophy. And I love it when somebody says, one of my concerns is, I don't know how much I can give. You know what? That person's going to make a great member. Because if they're worried about that, they're not coming in with the mindset of, what can I get out of B&I? I don't know if I can give enough. They'll be able to give enough. Right?
I find that some of the chapters, a small group of people do the majority of the work. Were you able to engage a lot more people so that you could grow faster? If you get a chapter of 20, and you have 5 people that seem to always do it, and you got 15 that are just skating. And it seems seems like the successful chapters are able to get more, maybe not all 20, but certainly 15 out of
15
20
of them.
more engaged
More in
in
the right direction.
bringing visitors. Did you do any of that?
I guess in retrospect, yes. I mean, it wasn't something that we did on purpose, but when I look back at what our chapter was doing and who was bringing, at that point, bringing visitors was probably more important than anything else for us. Looking back, yeah, they were engaged as far as being involved. Now, how do you take a chapter that exists and you have 80%, 20% of the chapter doing 80% of the work and re-engage the rest of the group? That's I think a harder task. We were so, I think one of our benefits was we were so new, we didn't know any better. So we just did what we were told. And what we showed. I mean, we worked the system. I'm not going to lie to you. B&I has a great system, and you will be successful if you work the system. So to help re-engage people, I would say just standing here and have an experience of being successful with the chapter getting started. The system works. You just got to work the system.
Can you explain what the system is? Because I bet a lot of people don't understand what you're talking about.
What you talking about, Willis? I talk about the chapter, growing a chapter and having a successful chapter isn't hard, but it is work. So it's taking that time, that giver's gain mentality, and living it. That is, I saw this when I walked in. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. Before I hang up, can you recommend? That's obviously been shared with the chapter. But does anyone put it into practice? Following up, how many of us follow up on the referrals that we receive in a timely manner? We do, right? How many of us say, well, I'll call that person about coming to a B&I meeting tomorrow? Or I'll call them about setting up that meeting with Ray and I to get his foot in the door tomorrow. And then what does tomorrow turn into? Next week. What's next week turn into? Next month, and then it doesn't get done. It's following through on what you say you're going to do. It is knowing that if I'm working hard for you, you're going to be working equally as hard for me. That is the core philosophy. That is the core underlying strategy to B&I. Now, I don't know, are you AD for all the chapters out of here? Most of them? And Drew is maybe for the rest? Okay. But either way, the assistant directors, and this is actually one of the things I was going to talk about, you've got to want to do it for yourself. You can't want to do it for Wayne, you can't want to do it for Chuck, and you can't want to do it for B&ICT. Because while they love you and they're more than happy to cash your check every year, the reason why you're here is to get business for yourself. Now, you talked about referrals. You guys did 500 referrals last year? Oh, almost 500 referrals last year. I don't want to freak you out. Yeah. Our chapter did 5,000 referrals last year. We do over 100 referrals a week. We close 66% of them just about on the mark. That's 3,000 referrals a year. That is why you want to have a bigger chapter. That is why you want to work the system. Because it will mean dollars in your pocket. We have an edible arrangement person that is in our chapter. She does 20 pieces of closed business a week. And that's great for her business. She got an introduction to a decision maker at a Fortune 500 company through our chapter. That is going to far eclipse those 20 pieces of closed business just for that one referral. For me, I need 1 or 2 pieces of closed business a year to more than recoup my investment in B&I because I have a much higher dollar value that are based on my referrals. Realtor, mortgage person, you guys know who you are. So, but you have to quantify, you have to goal set,